Hello everyone, Semi2009 here, and welcome to another spin-off sort of video of Thomas and Friends What Ifs. In What Ifs Part 10, I answered a question about what if Ryan was the villain in Lost Treasure, and after that video came out, I thought that could make its own video, doing a sort of rewrite. So here it is, and just a disclaimer, What If Part 11 will come out later this month, so this is as well as that. So with that out the way, let's get into it. The film would start exactly the same way, but after Ryan's arrival, he has a scene where he talks to himself about how he took over Thomas's branch line after Thomas was sent to the construction site, and how he wants the same fame that Thomas has. Ryan's driver is hesitant about this, but Ryan persuades his driver to help him. Then Thomas falls into the cavern and finds the pirate ship. Ryan finds out about this and is cross, because he wanted some recognition for once, and since he was originally brought to Sodor to build the new branch line until the plans changed after the accident in Knapford, he thinks he should have been the engine to have found the pirate ship. He even bumps Annie and Clarabelle in his anger, who take a disliking to him. Then we get introduced to Sailor John and Skiff. In this timeline, Sailor John is a maritime historian who owns a maritime museum in Harwick, which is slowly going out of business due to its lack of new attractions, but he keeps this a secret. However, his dream is to have the lost treasure as part of his museum. Later on, the Fat Controller asks Ryan to take a goods train to the docks, and Ryan arrives just in time to hear Salty's story about the lost treasure, and Ryan thinks if he finds the treasure, the other engines will recognise him. Ryan figures that the treasure would be near the pirate ship, so he needed a way to get a job at the construction site. He asks the Fat Controller, but he says that he's proud of the way he's handling Thomas's branch line and wants him to stay there for a while. Ryan is happy that the Fat Controller recognises him, but he wants to find the treasure more. So he tampered with the next train of coal going to the construction site by changing the trucks of clean coal to trucks of dirty coal. Thomas falls ill by the bad coal, but to Ryan's annoyance it wasn't enough to get Thomas sent out. Later on we get the scene of Thomas helping Sailor John at night, where they actually become friends, because Sailor John is the devil in this timeline. Now, because I'm keeping Ryan on Thomas's branch line in this timeline, I'm going to have the dynamite scene play out a little different. Thomas keeps telling the Fat Controller about the bad coal, but he ignores him every time. The dynamite trucks are brought to the construction site by maybe Percy. Let's give him something to do. Thomas's bad coal shoots sparks into the dynamite trucks, but Percy is right in front of them, so the chase plays out similar, but with Thomas chasing Percy instead. Later on, Sailor John is very upset and tells Thomas about his failing museum before driving Skiff back into the water. Thomas feels upset for Sailor John, but then Marion drops the treasure chest on Thomas, who goes looking for Sailor John, but doesn't see him anywhere. Then we get the "Where's my treasure?" scene, but instead, Sailor John, in there, Ryan, who finally tells Thomas what he wants, is there instead. And Ryan tells Thomas that he thinks it's unfair that Thomas gets all the recognition for everything, and how he wants the treasure. Thomas opens up to Ryan about how the Fat Controller's been ignoring him, but Ryan shoves his statement aside. Thomas can't keep Ryan and Sailor John out of his mind. Thomas rejects Percy's proposal for them to sleep in the shed together and goes to Knapford instead. Ryan's driver blasts the Fat Controller's office open and steals the treasure, and Thomas starts chasing Ryan. Thomas chases Ryan by himself, and Ryan then uses the pirate ship's sails to go even faster. The scene at Alsberg goes out fairly similar, with Percy taking Ryan's place as the engine who catches the rope. After the ship falls over, the chase becomes more even, and Thomas starts to catch up with Ryan until they reach Harwick. We then see Sailor John looking sad at his desk and counting the little money he's made from his museum recently. But then he hears Thomas whistling and shouting. Then he leaves his museum, and Thomas shouts to Sailor John that Ryan's stealing the treasure. Sailor John, desperate to get the treasure for his museum, wakes up Skiff from his siding and rolls him out in front of Thomas, who bumps into them. Sailor John, determined to help, starts throwing things at Ryan, and Ryan's driver starts throwing things back. Then we hear a horn, and we see that Ryan's driver has arranged for Ryan to be lifted onto a ship to escape. Just imagine that there's a big crane at the harbour. Ryan's driver switches the points to switch Thomas, Skiff and Sailor John away. In this time, Ryan is loaded onto the ship, and as the ship sails away, Sailor John leaps onto it and fights Ryan's driver for the treasure, and he throws it overboard before being pushed off himself by Ryan's driver. The next morning, Sailor John is rescued and the Fat Controller finds out what happened. When Ryan arrived on the mainland, the police are waiting and arrest Ryan's driver, and Ryan is just sent into preservation, which is more than he deserved, but we can't just scrap him because remember, this is still a kids' film. Then we get an extra scene where the Fat Controller congratulated Sailor John and invests some money into his museum and pays for Skiff to be repainted. The Fat Control also gives the pirate ship to his museum, which he had been holding on since the rediscovery as a sort of thank you to Sailor John. The film ends with Thomas getting his branch line back and Daisy returning as well. And Arthur also returns, so he and Daisy can run the new line. During the end montage, the treasure is saved and Sailor John gets it for his museum, in which we see many people coming to see it. Sailor John joins Thomas and Skiff in the ending scene at the lighthouse, which is the last shot of the film. And that's the film. Any scenes I didn't mention play out the same. I hope you like this idea, and with that I want to thank all of you for watching, see you in the next video, and goodbye for now.